A very good evening and welcome to the State of Business on our television. This is Madhusha Thavapalakumar. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines first. President calls on world leaders to emulate Nelson Mandela.
නෙල්සන් මැන්ඩෙලා චරිතය ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම ලෝකයට පෙන්නුම් කළේ බලය අත්හැරීම සහ බලය සීමා කිරීම සහ බලය රැඳී සිටීම පිළිබඳව.
United States to grant $480 million for development projects in Sri Lanka. Now the stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena called upon the world leaders to emulate Nelson Mandela, who showed the correct path by his humanitarian qualities and the love for people. Addressing the Nelson Mandela Peace Summit held on the sidelines of the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly yesterday at the UN headquarters in New York, President Sirisena said Mandela was a great statesman and the epitome of reconciliation. President Sirisena thanked the UN Secretary General and others for organizing the Nelson Mandela Peace Summit to honor such a great humanitarian leader who showed the path of true reconciliation to the world. The plenary session of the Mandela Peace Summit also adopted a political declaration covering guidelines for a range of areas including peace, democracy, rule of law and human rights.
නෙල්සන් මැන්ඩෙලා වැනි ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ මානවවාදී නායකයින් ලෝකයට සංහිඳියාව පෙන්නුම් කළ නායකයින් ලෝකේ මානව සමාජය විශිෂ්ට ගමනක් යෑමට අවශ්‍ය මාර්ගය කියා දුන් නායකයින් පිළිබඳව අපි අද කතා කරන්නේ එවැනි නායකයින් අද ලෝකයේ තුල නැති නිසායි. නෙල්සන් මැන්ඩෙලා චරිතය ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම ලෝකයට පෙන්눔 කළේ බලය අත්හැරීම සහ බලය සීමා කිරීම සහ බලය රැඳී සිටීම පිළිබඳව කොතෙක් දුරට මානවවාදී ලෙස කටයුතු කළ දු යන්නයි. අද ලෝකයේ ගමන් කරන්නේ ඒ ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ නෙල්සන් මැන්ඩෙලා ගමන් කළ ගමන නොවේ. ඒ නිසා තමයි මැන්ඩෙලාගේ ගමන පිළිබඳව ලෝකයට සිහිපත් කිරීමට සිදු වී තිබෙන්නේ. අපිට අද ජීවත් වන ජාතීන් තුල රාජ්‍ය නායකයින් තුල ලෝකයට දේශපාලන ගමන් මඟ පෙන්වන බොහෝ නායකයින් තුල නෙල්සන් මැන්ඩෙලා චරිතයේ ලක්ෂණ කොතෙක් දුරට තිබෙනවාද කියන ප්‍රශ්නය මතුවෙනවා. ඒ නිසා සාමය සංහිඳියාව ජාතීන් අතර සමගිය මානවවාදී විශිෂ්ට ගමනක් පිළිබඳව ලෝකයට කියා දුන් එවැනි විශිෂ්ට නායකයෙකුගේ චරිතය ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම අධ්‍යයනය කළ යුත්තේ අද ලෝක නායකයින් කියන එකයි මා විශ්වාස කරන්නේ.
United States has decided to provide a $480 million grant to Sri Lanka for implementation of several development projects. This was assured to President Maithripala Sirisena by the Chief Operating Officer of US government-owned Millennium Challenge Corporation, Brock Bierman, when he called on President Maithripala Sirisena in New York. Bierman said that he would obtain the approval of the MCC Board of Directors and the US Congress shortly so that the agreement with Sri Lankan government could be signed by December 2018 in Colombo. He invited President Sirisena to grace the signing ceremony in Colombo. The grant will be utilized for several development projects including transport infrastructure development, road development, bus modernization, control of traffic congestion and traffic management. Minister of Megapolis Development, Champiga Ranawaka, who was present at the meeting, said that a pilot project on transport regularization with MCC assistance would be implemented in Kandy shortly. The 30th CEO Network Forum, organized by Art Television under the theme Impacting the Economy Through Enhancement of Tourism, was held in Colombo this morning, featuring Chairman of Jetwing Hotels, Hiran Kure, as the keynote speaker. Delivering the keynote address, he stated that although there has been a lack of proper promotional campaigns to position Sri Lanka as a holiday destination, it has not been due to a lack of funds. Elaborating further, Hiran Kure cited a number of taxes which are part of the tourism industry, which has consistently generated revenue for the government. He also noted that Sri Lanka tourism requires not only the support of Ministry of Tourism but also other relevant ministries and industry stakeholders to drive a substantial growth.
The tourism development levy, this hotel, every hotel which is registered with the tourist board contributes 1% of the turnover, and there is a substantial amount of money coming into tourism. The time I was there, at least 3 billion rupees a year. 1/3 of the airport departure tax. Every time you go out, you are contributing roughly $5 into that. 1% of tourism turnover comes in. So there is roughly 3 billion rupees. So we are not short of funds for promoting the destination. It's just that it's not happening. The numbers that you see that is being quoted in the papers is correct. They are not cooking the numbers. I can assure you that. Our tourism is driven today by lots of other factors that is coming in. We are getting also luckily a lot of good media. I'm sure most of you would have seen some of the local newspapers also picked up on some of them, especially in Australia, right? We are getting a lot of good reviews. You need more than Ministry of Culture. You need wildlife, you need environment, you need aviation. Aviation is, we being an island, how do people come here? So aviation is extremely important area. Right? So many other ministries, transportation, roadways, local government, all these ministries are important, but that's not going to happen. One thing in fairness to the government, what they have done is the international relations, they have improved.
Tune into our television this Sunday at 8:30 p.m. for the exclusive telecast of the 30th CEO Network Forum held on 25th of September. Speaking exclusively to our television with regard to the rupee depreciation against the US dollar, marketing manager of Lanka Bell Limited, Abdullah Yusuf, made the following remarks.
In terms of our industry, of course, it does impact negatively because from two points of view, because when we have to bring down equipment and infrastructure from abroad, the price automatically goes up. And as well as in terms of consumption of our services, it also has an impact because the cost of living goes up. So the amount of money people have to spend on telecommunications will also go down. So in that aspect, the rupee depreciation definitely has an impact.
Let's take a look at more news after this short break. Welcome back. Issuing the National Consumer Price Index for the month of February 2018, Director General of the Census and Statistics Department, Dr. Amara Sathara stated that the year-on-year inflation based on NCPI has declined to 2.5% in August 2018 from 3.4% in July 2018. Contributions to inflation in August 2018 from the food group and the non-food group are minus 0.01% and 2.57% respectively, whilst contributions of these two groups to inflation in August 2017 were 5.3% and 2.7% respectively, resulting in a headline inflation of 7.9%. When compared to month-on-month changes, NCPI in August 2018 has decreased to 125.4 from 126.6 reported in July 2018. This shows a decrease of 1.2 index points, that is 0.9% points in August 2018 as compared to July 2018. This month-on-month change was due to the decrease of the expenditure value of food items by 1.31% and the increase of non-food items by 0.4%. The expenditure value of the communication and education groups remained unchanged during this month. Now let's take a look at the weekly economic indicators released by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka last Friday. During the period, crude oil prices showed mixed performance. At the beginning of the period, crude oil prices fell as the growing trade dispute between the US and China is expected to dent global crude demand. However, prices subsequently rose on signs that OPEC would not raise the output to address the shrinking supply from Iran and a decline in US crude inventories. Towards the end of the period, crude oil prices fell due to supplies built in US crude stockpiles. Overall, both Brent and WTI prices rose by 60 cents per barrel and 1.30 cents per barrel respectively within the period. The weekly average weighted prime lending rate for the week ending 21 September 2018 increased by 4 bps to 11.83% compared to the previous week. The reserve money increased compared to the previous week mainly due to increase in deposits held by commercial banks. The total outstanding market liquidity decreased to a deficit of 88.297 rupees by end of the week compared to a deficit of 19.171 billion rupees by the end of last week. During the year up to 21st September 2018, the Sri Lanka rupee depreciated against the US dollar by 9%. Given the cross-currency exchange rate movements, the Sri Lanka rupee depreciated against the euro by 7.8%, the pound sterling by 7.8%, and the Japanese yen by 9.2%, while appreciated the Indian rupee by 2.2% during this period. Let's see how the stocks performed after this short break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 71.32 points to close at 5,833.58, and the S&P SL20 dropped 37.47 points to close at 2,979.29. The turnover was 298.1 million rupees and 10.6 million shares were traded. Next is Forex rates. With that, we are wrapping up State of Business for the day. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time with more news. Until then, take care. Good night.